What's going on, everybody? Shit gets for real now. We're about to head to the Dead Trenches, and this is, in my opinion, the hardest part of the Deep Roads, and one of the harder parts of the game. In that this is basically a steady gauntlet of lieutenant and boss battles. I mean, just over and over. Every time you turn a corner, you're facing some new combination of really nasty enemies. And it might be a couple ogres, it might be, you have the Forge Master, who's a real bastard. He's back here. I actually struggle with that guy. For those of you that can walk through here, without armor and bare-fisted and no healing potions, and I can walk through this on Nightmare, at level 1, and okay, for those of you guys that can do all that, that's awesome. But I personally struggle a little bit here. This is, like I say, one of the rougher areas in the game, in my opinion. A lot of times you just face mobs. You just face an overwhelming number of enemies, and it's just a matter of killing them before they kill you, type thing. Just hold the attack button down and close your eyes and hope you hit something, type of deal. We get our first personal sight of the Archdemon here. I was sternly corrected by one of you, Pedro, you know who you are. Yes, I was sternly corrected that all the High Dragons are female. That's how they get so large. I guess like Black Widow spiders, the females are much larger than the males. But I'm assuming this Archdemon isn't any different, although it's a corrupted High Dragon, if I'm not mistaken. Something along those lines. I'm not sure really I think this is Dragon Age, I should know, but I'm not real clear on all the lore surrounding exactly dragons and how they relate to, like, the old gods and things like that. I'm not real clear. I couldn't sit there and just, simplify it for myself to where it's, fully understandable. But I was at least informed and put in my place regarding the High Dragons, and that they're all females, and that I should refer to them as she, if I'm going to be a self-respecting Dragon Age fan, which I would like to think of myself as. So there you have it. So from now on, as long as I remember, they will always be hers. So anyway, she, or the Archdemon, has flown off, and we'll chase her down later. But for now, we get to fight, like, all of her minions. Like, literally just about all of her lieutenants and bosses. That she's not saving for the end game. They'll all be right here.
They think to breach Orzammar?
I was trying to talk to the dwarfs here. I can talk to the Legion of the Dead, but it wasn't letting me right there. So apparently we've got something else that we have to clear out or something. We'll get a dialogue option. Now, if we just ran straight down this bridge and just straight through, we'd get to where we need to go, but that would be, like, much too easy, right? So essentially we get to zigzag through this entire area. Now this is, at least part of this place here is Undabar, which Ogren had mentioned earlier. It's like the Mausoleum, or resting place of the Legion of the Dead. It's where they place their dead, and we'll actually make a stop there to finish getting the rest of the Legion of the Dead armor, as a matter of fact. But as far as what the rest of this is, I guess this was an old fort of some sort, or whatever, kind of a front lines against the Darkspawn. Of course, it's been taken over by the Darkspawn now. I don't really know how this place relates to the other Estranged. I would say Estranged because they were cut off from Orzammar, the Kalsharak, I believe it's called. It shows up on the map, and we're, like, real close to it, but we're not actually there. I mean, this isn't the other Dwarven city, at least I don't think it is. Or the other Dwarven kingdom, like Orzammar. Apparently, Kalsharak is still around, but they hate the dwarves in Orzammar for cutting them off. I guess during the Blight, or some recent Blight, or something like that. And it was for survival reasons, of course, but they essentially abandoned them, left them on their own, and so the ones that are left, I was hoping that it would rear up again in another Dragon Age. I'm hoping it comes out as a DLC for Inquisition. Like a nice, really big, 5 gig, tasty DLC, that takes like 30 hours to complete, of just, Deep Road sexiness. That's what I want, but I may be asking for a lot there. Or maybe in a future game or something, but to settle the differences with Kalsharak, or go investigate, or go help them, I don't know, reclaim it, or whatever, and throw in all the Dwarven politics there and all that, and you know what, I could just do that all day. Honestly, this being my favorite part of the game right here, the Deep Roads in Orzammar, I could certainly use for some updated version of the Deep Roads in Inquisition. We get some tastes of it here and there, like with what's that rune you go to when you meet Bianca and Alamar? I think it's called Alamar or Avamar or something like that. Anyway, you get a taste of the deep roads, but it's just a little section. It's just like a little, you know, like one little block. It's not a whole kingdom or a whole area. I want to explore the deep roads in Inquisition, like miles and miles of deep roads, fighting waves of darkspawn and whatever else they got down there, and uncovering secrets on how the dwarves relate to the elves, relate to the mages, relate to the old gods, relate to the, you know, all that kind of stuff. I want questions answered and things. And I know a lot of that can be answered down here, more than I would initially thought. Looking back on Origins now, having played some Inquisition, I'm seeing some things, some new things. Like I did make a mention in an earlier one when we were still in Orzammar, when we were in the Royal Palace. We unlocked that dragon that was bound in the stone, essentially. Now, how exactly that little, I guess that would have been a male dragon there, the much smaller variety. How he relates to demons, I'm not sure, but there's also some traces of demons being bound in the stone by the dwarves in Inquisition. And I'm not totally clear on that, but there's some reference to that. It's in the Hissing Wastes, for those of you that are playing that. And if you read a lot of the codexes and stuff like that, there's references. And I don't know that I caught everything, but I did catch a glimpse of it. And I was like, huh, all right. And I think the question arose, was there Dwarven mages at one time? And it got me thinking a little farther, that all the Deshers, you know, the assembly of the dwarves, they all carry magic staffs. Now, none of them can use them, but they all carry them. They might just use them as maces and, just swing them like clubs, like stupid ogres or something. But still, they all carry these magic staves, and there's got to be some significance to that. There has to be.
Well, Grey Warden, I'll give you credit for backbone. You've dug a line through the spawn. Still no sense in your head, but you've got skill. Wondering what your life would be like if you'd stayed in Orzammar? Few others of our kind would have you. We accept anyone, and are revered in advance as heroes who have and will die in glorious battle. Even murderers. The Legion knows those words well. It's a song of the recruit hoping for a way back to caste or honor. They get their head out of the smoke and accept their fate. Or the stone takes them. Why? The other kingdoms only care when the Darkspawn march in the light. But they are always here. Always pushing. You lived here, you know. Blights take so long because we keep Darkspawn in check. A surge on the surface would reduce the pressure on us. When the time comes, I'll care for a good Dwarven reason. Sod the rest. Like Dusters, I've heard of respect. Never seen it. And if it exists, it wasn't meant for me. But if you're looking for paragons, you may as well look for the Anvil. And Endless Lyrium. Let us know if you find any paragons. You're as likely to find a dozen as one. And Warden, watch yourself. Drunks make poor allies.
Alright, so we did get to speak to Legion of the Dead. I thought we could talk to them into joining us?
Trasvala, Grey Warden. I've never seen one of your kind in the deep roads. Your past means nothing to the Legion of the Dead. Our oath ignores caste, family, history. It lets us act without distraction, despite what we might have thought of you in life. What do you want here, Warden? The Darkspawn squat in our tunnels between blights. Why would you pull us away from our defense? Give me a good Dwarven reason. You're working for a fool. We follow the throne, which is empty. Below that is politics, beneath Legion notice. That's the benefit of our oath. What? Does he need some weight to swing the vote in the Assembly? I suppose you're sweeping the vents for paragons. It's not my job to shore up the Assembly chasing dead legends. The Legion holds a line so those fools have time to put an ass on the throne. After that, we'll be the first into the dead trenches. Might even tackle your blight, though that's a surfacer's problem. You want to go digging blind? You go right ahead. Why? The other kingdoms only care when the... You lived here, you know. Blight... When the time comes, I'll care for a good dwarven reason.
Okay, well, he has nothing else to say. All right.
Good luck, Grey Warden.
Thanks for the vote of confidence. Okay, now I'm going to bring up some things here, and these are some things to think about. Okay, when we see the Darkspawn, we see that some of the Genlocks, or the Dwarven Darkspawn, are emissaries, all right, which are mages, okay? They're dark mages. They like to throw around their spirit and evil, cursey magic and all that other crap, along with their fireballs and stuff, but they're mages, all right? Now, you could think that's just a product of being corrupted, that they can become mages, but then why is it only very, very select few become the emissaries, and the rest are like the rogues, the Genlock rogues, that love to disappear, reappear, stab you in the back, and do what rogues do. And you have a few archers, and you have some with, a sword and a shield or whatever, but, many dwarves are Carta. So if they were rogues before they were corrupted, well, then that's what they are after they're corrupted. They're just Darkspawn rogues, okay? Little Genlock guys. We see them, but every once in a while you run into an emissary, right? It is my belief now, this is my theory, is that the Genlocks stem from someone like Sandal. Were Sandal to be caught by the Darkspawn and corrupted, he would become an emissary. Sandal is what I believe a dwarf with dormant magic, where he has no maybe conscious physical control over the forces of magic, but he can work not only lyrium into runes, but I'll take this a step farther, and I will take you to Dragon Age 2, which we'll see when we get there. If you give him the red lyrium that Varric gets from his brother, and that's all part of a whole nother part of the story, but if you take that red lyrium and you give it to Sandal, he makes a rune which increases your speed. Oh god, it's amazing for a warrior build. But anyway, he gives you this haste rune, essentially. Now, haste is something that is really big with berserkers and also reavers. All right, there's a now it's corrupted lyrium that he made this from, and reaver is like a corrupted skill. It's a warrior's version of blood magic. But since you're not a mage, the demon can't find purchase in your body, so he's got to stretch through and steal the life from others. All right, so that's essentially, reaver is essentially a blood warrior. I mean, almost by definition is what it is. Okay. So if Sandal can take red lyrium and turn it into a haste rune, and haste is a reaver spec, I guess you could say, all right, then it just goes to figure that essentially Sandal is a dwarven mage, all right, but one with dormant dwarven abilities. He can only command the forces of nature through the working of raw lyrium into runes and things like that, but he can still express it. And we also see Sandal in the Deep Roads, where he freezes all these Darkspawn around him. You walk up and they're all frozen solid, dead, and you ask him and he goes, enchantment? Like it's a question, like he has no willful control over these things, yet the expression of magic is available or capable through him, all right? And we're not talking enchantment in a rune. He didn't swing a sword once and freeze all those Darkspawn around him. That's a spell. It's like Winter's Grasp. He let off a Winter's Grasp. It may have been an immediate reaction to his spirit being threatened. Not just his body, but his spirit, considering he's fighting Darkspawn. I don't know exactly. That's just pure speculation. But I do have the evidence of looking at these Darkspawn themselves to figure that of the very few that wind up being mages here, that some mages have some dormant magical ability within themselves. It is possible that all the Deshers, or leaders in the assembly back in Orzammar, are all dormant mages. They may all be runecrafters. I don't know. I didn't ask. They don't tell me. But it's possible. And they all carry staves. They can't use them. They can't will the magic to express itself through that. But they could possibly manipulate lyrium and things of that nature. Or they just have dormant magic within themselves, whether they do rune crafting and that kind of stuff or not. Now remember, a mage himself that has dormant magical abilities can also work with lyrium, because it can't affect a tranquil much more than lyrium can affect a dwarf. So essentially, a tranquil mage is made like a dwarf, right? But it's still tranquil. It's just the magic is made dormant within them. They're essentially scarred, and it's also reversible, right? So if it's reversible, it goes to figure that there is perhaps something that can be done to reverse the condition of a dwarf. Also, and I don't know if I want to necessarily go with there, because reversal could also be undoing something that was done by man in the form of being made tranquil, whereas dwarves aren't made tranquil by man. Dwarves are essentially born that way. But like I say, there are still some which evidence suggests, like this guy right here that I just killed, that do have dormant magic, and when they become darkspawn, it unlocks or reverses that dormancy and allows them to actually manipulate magic freely. Whereas as in their dwarf form, prior to corruption, they could only do things like enchantment and stuff like that. That's my theory. And that's based on the evidence that I see here, and I don't see anything lore-wise to refute that. If there is, well then that's cool. I mean, I could be wrong, but it's neat to think about. Anyway, so that's my long, rather lengthy theorizing on what's going on here with the dwarves and the emissaries and, you know, so on and so forth. And Sandal has always been kind of a mystery to me too. He's awesome because, like, talk about a man of few words. He just does his thing like a champ. Enchantment? That's it. That's all he has to say. Enough said right there. Enchantment. Yeah. Give me fire on my stuff so I can go kill things. Oh, Sandal's my hero. In fact, you know, we're going to see when we get there, but it seems like at the end of Origins, we also see Sandal with a crap ton of dead darkspawn too. I may be wrong on that, but it's I kind of remember that. It's been a long time since I played this, but well, we'll see when we get there.
Darkspawn, destroy the fiends. Let's get started. You never had a chance.
Okay, now this is also a mausoleum, and I think in one of these sarcophagi, somewhere in one of these, we find a piece of the, I think the actual Legion of the Dead armor itself, you know, the actual, like, chest piece, and then we'll find the helmet later in the official section for them, right? Their actual mausoleum, but I think all of this is Undabar, if I get it right, because this is essentially one big morgue, right? Like Ogren was saying, it's like a mausoleum, and it really is. I mean, there's just coffins everywhere. And it seems like each section we go through, there's a little side room like this. We're going to run into a lot of these. Of course, they're going to get progressively nastier, too. So I want to make sure I don't really miss anything here. I also want to make sure I get all the pieces of, or the rest of the pieces of the Topsider's sword. We'll have to return to, oh, what was it? Ortonteig or Carradin's Cross? I don't remember. One of the two had that coffin that it's a sarcophagus that we return it to, and it reforms the sword for us from the pieces, and it just automatically pops up in our inventory, which is cool. It's not a sword we're going to need. I think I have a much superior weapon for Alistair right now. He's the only one that would use it. Now, if I was playing a warrior, I would actually have that in my main hand, and I would have a dagger in my offhand, which affects your attack speed. Your offhand weapon basically dictates your attack speed, if I recall right. I believe that's right. I don't know. If I was playing a warrior, I'd actually go look at that, because I don't remember. But having a certain weapon in one hand will affect your overall attack speed with both hands, or something. They had a similar mechanic in Skyrim, actually, where if you if you wanted to dual wield large weapons, if you had a sword and an axe, put the sword in your left, and you get the attack speed of the sword, which is like, I don't know, 40% faster than an axe or something like that. But you could use the axe in your main hand to stagger enemies a lot more, get enemies knocked back and stuff. And if you're playing Skyrim on Legendary, especially at really low levels, it's nice to have that heavy weapon to sometimes interrupt your enemies in their attacks, because everybody can essentially 2 or 3 hit you. Even like skeevers and mud crabs. You haven't fought a mud crab till you fight a mud crab at like level 1 or level 2 on Legendary. They will get with your ass. Oh my god, the first time I died to a mud crab, I was like, okay, they're serious. Mud crabs are serious now. Anyway. Okay, but those guys really didn't need to run on me. That would have been nice to get all 6 of them with that one sweep right there, right? Maybe I should have had my whole party wait outside the door to see if I could get away with that. Like, see, these genlocks, they have a sword and shield. And then quite a few of them, you know, are rogues, but, let's see. See, we don't even have a single emissary in here, so, like I say, a majority, vast majority of the converted dwarves are these guys. You know, just foot soldiers. Just really ugly dwarfs. And every once in a while you get that emissary, and, of course, they mean business. They take enchantment to a whole new level, don't they? I think one of these coffins has the Legion of the Dead armor, I think. Oh, it's the gloves. Okay, gloves of Legion. Well, whatever. The armor must be in a later room, but I could remember getting a piece here somewhere. Okay, now lucky, or rather unlucky for us, we have these side tunnels that connect all these places. So, you know, all the main doors heading straight across the bridge are locked. So, of course, we have to go through these big S-curves to get through this area.
Destroy the fiend.
And there's another emissary. No. That's not good. Hey, Win, how about just healing me over here? Please? Heal me, thanks? Like... See that shockwave? There must have been a trigger. Some kind of combo triggered. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe she put Force Field on me and then hit Dispel? Not Dispel, but Mana Clash or something? Oh, I don't know.
Used to fighting like this any longer.
I hear you, Win. Sorry. Not exactly sure what caused that. I believe that's a combo, Shockwave, but I'm not familiar with all the combos in this. I would probably be more familiar if I played a mage class more often. But you know, you have the obvious ones like Shield Bash on someone that's frozen solid. You know, things like that. Critical hits on petrified enemies can create something similar to a shatter effect, I believe, which is cool as a rogue, because basically any backstab is a critical hit, right? Okay, I believe he has one of the remaining pieces of the top side. Notice his boss name right there, his boss color. This guy hits really hard. He probably 2-hit win right now, probably. Even with rock armor on. I don't know, maybe not quite that hard, but pretty close. But, he's gonna do all that without his head is what he's gonna do. There we go. Alright, let's wait till his loot pops up. I found this to be a problem sometimes if you've been playing for a long time without reloading. Yeah, there we go, Topsider's Blade. Okay, and I think the Forge Master, who is probably the nastiest guy back here, of all these Darkspawn bosses, I think he has the last piece.
Wasted time. Let's get on it. Let's get started.
Alright, there's the friggin' Darkspawn ninjas. You know what's strange is I'm really kind of tanking a lot of the time by not getting hit. Instead of tanking by taking damage, I'm tanking by avoiding basically all damage whatsoever. I can't take any damage. These guys could destroy me if they could hit me, but most of them can't. Like I say, it's just going to get better. It makes it worth bringing Lelion along with the Song of Valor. I think it's Song of Valor. And it raises your defense, stamina regen, and all that. I don't think I'm going to need a lot of help with my attack, but bringing her along at a certain point much, much later in the game will help on that regard. She's pretty squishy herself, but if she's singing that song I become damn near unhittable. I can be hit, but odds are I'm going to heal before I get hit again. I mean, just in regular combat health regeneration, honestly, because it's just awesome. Once you get your defense just through the roof, it takes a boss to swing at you 5 times to hit you once. I mean, it's pretty cool. Okay, now if you're looking for money the hard way, this is probably the best area of the game for that too, that I can think of right off the top of my head, because like all these things sell for 1.5 gold, almost 2 gold, you know, that type of stuff. Massive heavy armor for the dwarves and stuff like that, and it's pretty valuable stuff. You know, these guys here found the best technique is just to, I'm not going to say kite them, but don't just run in there like, you know, just don't go in all Rambo. I may think I'm unhittable, but you get all like 40 of these dudes hitting on me at the same time, I'm going to die quick. Regardless, especially if it seems like the Forge Master can debuff you with like a war cry or something like that, something similar to that. And like there are a lot of enemies back here. You know, so you even have yeah, you've got a lieutenant or two. I'm gonna get him out of the way right now, actually. I need to keep him off my party, that alpha, because that alpha does a lot of damage, and my party doesn't have the luxury of 3 million defense. The problem is this Forge Master isn't a mage, particularly. He's like a two-handed super berserker. In fact, he is probably your version of a berserker. That's probably exactly what he is, a darkspawn berserker. How he was created. I'm assuming all darkspawn are just a twisted form of the creature that they were made from. His armor rate, I think it's his armor. Oh, let's see. What am I hitting him for? I have pretty good armor penetration with my stats. No, I'm hitting him for the right numbers. Oh, no, I'm not. See, I'm putting up 10s, 12s. Okay, I should be putting up between 30 and 40 in that range. Well, there's a 44. I don't know how I got that. It's been super critical or something. There we go. But overall, it's 10, 18, 10. Okay, I get it. Nice of wind to put the force field up there.
Task complete, on to the next.
I thought he gave us the... I must have all the pieces of... Oh, he just gives us his hammer. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought he had the last piece. We must have all the pieces of the sword. Okay, well, whatever. I was going to kill him anyway, regardless. Doesn't matter. He needed to go. I'll go sell his hammer. I'm trying to hear it. Okay, now that wasn't the last big challenge, but that was, I think, the hardest of the darkspawn enemies back here. One really just disgusting area also is this, well, shoot, you know, I really don't even know what to call it. We'll see when we get there. It's kind of like that corrupted spider challenge. It's almost a puzzle. It's like this big turning head thingy. I don't know how to describe. I don't know what you'd call it. It's a Forge Master something or another. Forge, I don't know. We'll see. I know there's anvils, a lot of spirits, and poison involved. That's all I know. Well, something like poison, anyway. Well, it's nice of the game to save for me. Definitely use that. Okay, before we travel on, let's see, where am I at? Okay, I guess north is the only place we have to go. Okay, let's do that then. Each time we come to one of these crossroads like this, it just gets worse and worse, right? About to say, something has to pop out. We can't not get ambushed. I mean, of course we have to be ambushed, right? Don't worry, I got these 4. Y'all just handle that. Those 4 over there. I'll get these 4 by myself. Don't worry, I got this. These guys are made from werewolves. I'm certainly glad they can't do the push you down on the ground and eat your face move. The maul move, or whatever they call it. I'm glad they're not doing that. It's good of them all to drop loot. At least they're doing that. Well, we got the stupid Forge Master out of the way, so there's not a whole lot more they can throw at us, right? Not really. Okay, now that's another one of those Shaper's tablets. I think if you collect all of them, you get to, like I say, write something in at the actual Shaper itself. Okay, one more quick save. Do that. All right.
Lifeless bastards. As you wish, let's get started.
Trying to see what my actual basic attacks have on these guys. The sweep doesn't count. Okay, in the 20s, mid-20s, so these guys have some armor. But I've hit other enemies for up in the 30s, and man, I could really use a mana clash right about now. Please? I got company over here. Okay, wait, or you can bust him in the face with a stone fist. That'll work, I guess. Oh, stop it. Okay, I've got force field on me now. Okay, well, I'll just do mana clash myself, thanks. Since my character's frozen solid. That emissary's gone now. And I'll heal myself. And I'll regenerate myself. And I'll be invincible for a minute while these skeletons are really just all over my nuts. They honestly can't hit me. I mean, not really. I guess, oh, well, they do get a flanking bonus. I think enemies get an attack and damage bonus from behind. So I guess they essentially can hit me from back there, but if they're in front of me, pretty much no. But if you're a rogue, most of the time, except in stupid situations like that when you're getting molested by a dozen skeletons, essentially enemies shouldn't be behind you, you should be behind them. That's how it ideally should go. Anyway, it doesn't matter, we got through it. Alright, so let's loot the place. I think this is the room where the actual armor is. The actual set of armor. And it looks almost identical to the armor you start the game with as a noble. Whether you yeah, there it is, Armor of the Legion. Alright, whether you technically have enough strength to wear it or not at the very beginning of the game, you actually, at least for appearance's sake, you actually get to be wearing it, and that's pretty cool. It's one of the few helmets in the game I don't actually mind wearing, actually being seen wearing, you know. And Shale has, like, used all of our health potions here. He's trying to be a tank, and he's not. I mean, I guess, like I said, I guess there's a way to set him up to be tanky. But overall, he just doesn't have shield wall, shield defense, and all that other sexy stuff. He doesn't. I mean, he has some defensive buffs, but and that's all I have him using his stamina for, is defensive things. But he's also using taunt and stuff like that. Nothing that, like, increases the enemy's attack, but the damage that the enemy takes, nothing like that either. Just simple taunt, aggro, to keep, you know, the attention off my mage, which is the idea. But once he draws the hate, he can't really hold it. Not as well as I'd like. But, oh well. Another thing with him is I'm running out of slots to put points in. I guess essentially you can max out Shale's tree, or real close. Real close to it. And Ogren, he's not much better as a tank either. He's decent DPS, I guess. Like I said, at the very end of the game, I'd consider maybe taking him, but the more I think about it, I might just bring Lelion along. She's squishy, but if Alistair's doing his job and Wynn is doing her job, then I think Leliana can stand over there and just deal the pain and buff the whole party. She can also even buff your attack speed too, but it doesn't count with me because I already have, what is it, momentum? I already have that active, and so I don't believe it stacks because I think there's a max speed that you can be buffed to, and I think it surpasses that, so it doesn't actually count, which kind of sucks. But it doesn't matter, she can buff the rest of the party with that though. So everyone attacks faster, does more damage, quicker, which is kind of a good thing. An enemy can't kill you if he's dead, so sure enough you can't take as many hits, but if the enemy only has half the time to hit you, kind of evens out, in my opinion. Unless a dragon grabs you and he one-hits you, you know, with the chomp move when he eats your face. That's a different story, I guess.
You fare well?
Okay, now I already know what's back here. I do remember this. We're just gonna make this quick and clean. Yeah, no playing with you. No playing with you, twin genlocks. We'll holler at you and word to your mother and all that good stuff. No, no, no. You don't get to sit there and spam your... one will spam you with crushing prison, and the other one will hit you with anything else. Doesn't really matter, and kill you with it. One shot your like whole party right there. It's stupid. And I'm gonna get my face eaten off by the spider. They must find me tasty. That's like the 5th time that's happened down here in the deep road so far. Friggin' spider. I don't like spiders anyway, as it is. And see, now there I was hitting for almost 40, so armor has everything to do with that. I still should get decent armor penetration with daggers.
It's done.
I don't remember if cunning plays into that, or if dex plays into that, or if it doesn't really matter. I think you just get a certain percentage based on your stats overall with daggers. I'm not sure exactly. I don't know all the numbers, exactly how they crunch. Like I say, a point or two here or there doesn't make a whole lot of difference to me if the overall build is effective. I'm a big fan of DPS, but I like a solid, complete party build, too. There are a lot of builds, optimal builds, and I can name a game right off the top of my head. New Vegas. I have got what I consider a perfect build that fits any playstyle. In my opinion, even have a video on it, and it's effective, regardless of what you want to do. Want to run around with heavy armor or no armor? Doesn't matter. You can do it all with that build, and be effective on very hard, playing hardcore, blah blah blah. But it sacrifices a little bit of DPS for playability, for playstyle as far as the RPG element of the game goes. But so I do balance that in a bit, but still I like to be able to kick the most ass with the least amount of effort. That is always a good thing. Now, okay, now this girl is like Ruck, but look, even though she's not twisted, she's a little bent over, right? She's obviously not feeling well, but she's not misformed.
Someone new. Impossible. Feeding time brings only kin and clan. I am cruel to myself. You are a dream of strangers' faces and open doors. First day they come and catch everyone. Corruption. The men did that. Their wounds festered, and their minds left. They are like dogs, marched ahead, the first to die. Not us, not me, not Laren. We are not cut. We are fed. Friends, and flesh, and blood, and bile, and all I could do was wish Laren went first. I wished it upon her so that I would be spared. But I had to watch. I had to see the change. How do you endure that? How did Branca endure? What they are allowed to do. What they think they must. And Branca, her lover, and I could not turn her. Forgive her. But no, she cannot be forgiven. Not for what she did. Not for what she has become. I will not speak of her, of what she did, of what we have become. I will not turn. I will not become what I have seen. Not Laren, not Branca.
Okay, so Branca has turned and Laren has turned. Right, interesting. But, notice, like, Ruck, she's not, I see an ogre over there. Great. Well, it's nice for a little heads up, right? Ruck was twisted, you know, malformed. His back and his arms and so on and so forth. And she wasn't like that. She had the same facial features. She was obviously sick with the same sickness. So I wonder if Ruck was like that before he got turned. If, that's why he was so proud to go down with the Smiths, you know, and with the warrior party and so on and so forth to be doing his thing down there. That Ruck just friggin' breaks my heart. Okay, can somebody like hit the ogre? Thank you, thank you. He was about to punch in my face. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, now he's gonna break Ogren's face. All right, I returned the favor. Like that, Ogren got my back, I got his. Like that? Okay. Who are you looking at? Stop looking at me like that. There you go. Take your eyes out. All right. Stop bleeding all over my floor. Alright, so twin ogres. They're just throwing a little of everything at us, right? Ogres aren't near as terrifying as they used to be way back when in Ostagar. That ogre at the top of the tower, boy, he was bad news. Early game? Very beginning? Yeah. If he picked you up, it was over. There wasn't anybody going to get your back. Because it's going to take everyone else about 10 more minutes to kill him. Yeah, no one's going to save you if you get picked up. I don't know. I like having my my warriors set to
I'm unable to do that.
either shield bash or pommel strike. The ogres when they're grabbing, they won't always do it, but it can save you. It can sometimes, depending on if they have the stamina available, if they're not doing something else, if they're not halfway across the map while you're getting your face pounded in or whatever. But they could possibly get the ogre to release you, because if you stun them in the animation, it can save you. Won't always, but at least it's a chance. Other than that, you're pretty much insta-dead. The gang shade. That is meant. That's what I saw, and I don't know exactly what it means, but I saw it in Inquisition, and it has something to do with their ability to bound demons. And it's interesting. We see a bunch of dwarven spirits here. I don't know if you'd call these. I wouldn't call them demons. I don't know if I'd even call them shades. Although that shade in the Elven temple looked like a person. It wasn't shaped like, you know, a shade looks. You know, shades have a particular appearance in Dragon Age. They have a certain look. And they usually do backflips and throw spirit magic at you and slap you in the face. But these guys, even if they would... I think they would be called Legion Shades or Shades or something, but they're just spirits. So what is it about dwarfs and their dormant or immunity, their inability to work magic? They're being cut off from the Fade, essentially. Is them being cut off the Fade, is that what has their spirits here in their disembodied form? And does it have something to do with this? Like, I mean, I'm sure not every dead dwarf is a spirit roaming the earth looking to kill people. I mean, I'm sure that's not the case. But these Legion being here much closer, because I think the only spirits that I found were spirits related to the golems back in the Orton Tig, which the golems are a whole story, and we'll learn more about those here shortly. Well, not short, probably in the next video. All right, and then you have the Legion of the Dead down here, really, really close to the Darkspawn, and their spirits are roaming freely. And then they mentioned the gang. I was thinking Rouge for some reason, but gang, or Gangi, however you say that, Gangue. However you say that, that was the word mentioned by these spirits who are, I mean, by the dwarves who are binding spirits into the stone, and the hissing wastes in Inquisition, and I believe it's also a reference to that dragon that is bound in the royal palace upstairs, which is just in the room right next to it, has a revenant guarding a phylactery, meaning there was a mage there. A mage possibly waiting to be reborn, such as the phylactery you find in the Elven ruins, where you learn the arcane warrior skill from. Ancient mage that has the ability of eternal blood like the elves had. Probably an elven mage with I don't know, man. Now you're just getting off into lore that I'm totally out of my element there. But I wonder if this is Laren or whatever that girl's name was, with her sexy chest going on there, and her tentacles. I won't even bring up the Japanese reference there. That's just going too far. But yeah, this is uncomfortable on several different levels. Okay, now the tentacles can be killed. I'm not going to necessarily go out of my way for them, but as long as they're in my way, slapping me in the face, it just gives you less things to hit your party with. See, if we had Alistair here, Alistair could just be up in her face, just taking all that. He essentially can't be knocked down. He can't hardly be touched with any kind of magic or anything. Poison would probably have some effect, but if all Wynn has to do is just keep him on his feet, shit, you're good. Much easier. Now she's gonna throw up on me. Oh, that's just sexy. So sexy. She doesn't have much resistance or any immunity whatsoever to paralysis, though. That's a good thing. And I have the Grandmaster Paralysis Rune in my right dagger, because it does not trigger from your left dagger. So if you're going to have that in a rogue setup, always have it in your right dagger. We're going to do the leveling guide for Origins. I'll show you exactly how I have at least my main party members, all their tactics set, so you can get an idea of my logic and reasoning behind the way I do it. It's not the same as a lot of other people's, but if you've been following it up to this point, I think it's proven itself to be effective enough, you know? There may be some ways to optimize or capitalize on some other stuff, and that's awesome, if there is, but as far as the Dex Rogue goes, oh, well, that's not cool. What? That's, like, so disrespectful, bitch. How dare you pick me up and do whatever you just did. I don't even want to think of what you were thinking when you did all that, either. This thing is disgusting, man. I don't know. I don't think that's exactly poison. I think it's... Oh, if it's acid, bile, which is just disgusting to think about, it's probably destroying our armor rating. We probably have, like, no defense. Or at least no armor, no protection when she does that. For a period of time. That would be my guess. Yeah. But anyway, we'll do a leveling guide, just like I try to do with the other videos and stuff. And I'll show you exactly how I have this set up, so you could at least take it for a, you know, a basis to work from, if nothing else. I have pretty much optimal gear from having gotten pretty much unlimited money. And I got all the money I'll need for the game. There'd be one or two of those items which would probably be available later, type of deal. Probably not all of them for everybody. I don't know a way to get 1,500, 1,800 gold, whatever you need for the maximum items without ever purchasing anything else. Wow, if her life was disgusting, her death is going to be even worse. That's just nasty. But you know, if you're not going for any kind of unlimited money, which isn't a glitch, like I say, it can be made legit. Just sell potent lyrium potions and several other methods. If you have the Shale DLC,
That's where they come from. That's why they hate us. That's why they need us. That's why they take us. That's why they feed us. But the true abomination is not that it occurred, but that it was allowed. Branca, my love. The stone has punished me, dream friend. I am dying of something worse than death. Betrayal.
all that lover stuff, you're where her husband's standing, like right here. You know, I'm just saying, like right here. You know, I mean, like next to me, right there. And you're just going on. I wonder how Ogren feels about that. He might be cool with it, actually. I don't know. I'd probably be cool with it personally, but you know, whatever. Each to his own. Anyway, all right. So we'll go over a level video and we'll get through the deep roads here and get back to camp. I think we might want to talk to Ogren because he's just got some awesome dialogue. I mean, who doesn't love Ogren with his crass ass? He's awesome. But we'll get into that, and then I think we'll do that while we're in camp. We'll just go, you know, through. There's the last of the effort set too. We'll go through, you know, all random party members and my character included. And shit, I gotta clear out my inventory. Well, no heading back to the merchant now. I think we're past that point. I think we're just gonna trudge on. Just break down all the cheap stuff and go on about our business. But yeah, we'll cover everything. Cover tactics. Cover skills and where I put stuff. Cover my gear. What I put in my gear, the runes and things, and how I like to maximize that to my, you know, to what I like to do. And, well, it sounds like a plan. We'll probably do it earlier than level 20. I think we're, what, 16 now or something? So we'll do it pretty soon. We're pretty much maxed out as it is anyway, as far as points are concerned. Now it's just icing on the cake. All right, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next one. If you want to subscribe, hit that button over my head. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.